welcome to the League. You're joining us here at the League, where we spend 5 minutes each week discussing the latest topics in the market, sharing with you all the most amazing intelligence, from experts, like myself, as well as, my co-host, who you may already know from the Solar Maverick. His name is Benoy Thanjan, and I'll let you get to it, Benoy.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to introduce my co-host, David Magid. He's a 16-year solar veteran. And as he said, we'll be going through major news items in the solar industry. One thing that I was going to talk about was with the interest rate environment that we currently have, with a lot higher interest rates than before, what we've seen, investors have been changing pricing of development fees because they assume certain interest rate assumptions, specifically, them putting on debt on the projects, and that has led to lower development fees. We're also seeing development capital, which is important for developers. It's a form of funding that they received from investors to develop projects. We're seeing it be a lot higher multiple than before, a range. I would say last year, before the interest rate hikes, it was more around 12 to 14%. Now you're seeing a higher range of 12 to 20%. And I also wanted to briefly talk about transferability. If you're not familiar with transferability, that's one of the concepts of making it easier for companies to take advantage of tax equity, or if they have a tax liability and invest in a renewable energy project. And what's happening now is, since we're still waiting for IRS details about this, there's not really much happening with transferability, at least for this tax year. It's only a 2 to 3 page potentially document that you could be able to absorb the tax credits versus complicated transactions like the partnership flip, inverted lease, or sale leaseback, which has been very common in the market, and where you would have very large, banks and companies take advantage of these tax incentives. But going forward, that's not going to be the case. It should allow a lot more people and companies to take advantage of it. And that's, my briefing of 2 major topics going into the solar industry. David, I'll let you take it here.
Benoy, amazing briefing there, and, I think we're all feeling, the pressures, of high interest rates, the inflationary environment. I think, between you and I think now we're sharing our Netflix account, because we're already cutting costs because everything's going on like absolutely ridiculous.
The solar coaster keeps going.
It keeps going, and that's how it moves. So yeah, that being said, a few key topics to be aware of what's going on in the market right now. Domestic content, 10% adder, post IRA, very hot topic. Everyone's very excited for this. You're seeing manufacturers, being announced and facilities being set up. Things are moving very quickly. Question, big item comes. Should your development fee reflect this 10%, ITC, adder? And at the same point, what we're seeing in the market is we're forecasting next year, you're going to start seeing more surplus of modules, be able to purchase these. We think the bigger delay is going to occur, with your tax equity, providers really getting comfortable, around this, qualifying for this domestic adder. And yeah, Benoy, was there anything you wanted to mention on that? I know you've been speaking to some of these manufacturers, on the ground level with Solar Maverick. Anything you could speak about that for a second here?
Yeah, definitely. On the Solar Maverick podcast, I spoke to Martin, who's the president of Helene. They're a domestic manufacturer in the US, and obviously everyone wants to take advantage of the step up of the ITC, so they don't have really much volume excess. The bigger developers are buying huge parts of their megawatts so they could take advantage of the adder. It's interesting, since there's a lack of supply. Initially, they think that the domestic US manufacturers will price in taking most of the benefit of the adder. And I actually spoke to Mike Hall, who's the president of ANZA Renewables. It's a podcast episode that'll come out in the future, and he was saying it'll probably take 2 or 3 years before most EPCs could take advantage of domestic content. And that's
No, great. Great insights there, Benoy, and hearing it from the market, some of the chatter, that's occurring here, so I think that's very important for us to keep our eyes on. Other interesting news, that has come to the light is Utah. Recently there was a project, that was acquired by the folks at Greenbacker, 200 megawatts. This is a unique project, due to the fact that it's the first project to utilize the production tax credit post IRA. Very big deal there. Next component, of news briefings to be aware of: Duke Energy, as we all know, offloaded, solar and wind assets. Brookfield, went ahead and, purchased and gobbled up, all of those assets, 2.8 billion, with their rooftop business, sold to the folks at ArcLight Capital, partners, 364 million. So great activity, that's going on in the marketplace. Other activity in the, M&A field is we saw the RWE folks. They went and acquired $6.8 billion, Con Ed's clean energy business. What are we seeing here? Starting to see a lot of these traditional utilities, that started these deregulate, on their, deregulated, arms, building these, pipelines and selling them off. So great news briefing, that's here. Benoy, anything that you wanted to add, before we wrap up here?
I mean, I think we're seeing a lot of these bigger companies buying a lot of different companies to create behemoths in the future. And it's exciting to see that there's a lot of M&A activity in the industry.
Lots of bright stuff on the horizon, guys. Make sure, that whatever platform you're listening to this on, hit the like button, give us, 5, 10 review stars, whatever you could do, the highest rating on your platform. Check us out next week, every single week, just building the momentum. Really excited to see what you're going to learn, with us here. And make sure that you definitely hit that subscribe button now. So with that, thank you guys, everyone, for listening. I'll pass that to Benoy if you have any closing words here.
No, I think it's huge. Ratings help us. And, obviously, if you have any feedback, please, we'll have an email for you to reach out. We're going to offer this every week, and we think it's very helpful for the industry.
All right, guys, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Benoy. Take care.
Take care.